So recently, for some reason, I started thinking about this game that I knew about from way back when I started Android development. This must have been 15 years ago. And I just couldn't remember, you have one of those things stuck in your head and you can't remember the name. And I tried to Google it, and it's very difficult to Google because all I could remember is, it's a game. There's this Android mascot in the game, and he has some sort of jetpack and can fly around. That's pretty much what I remembered. And if you try to search now, Android jetpack game, right? So all you find is things about, the libraries, the jetpack libraries, so jetpack compose and all that. And also there are a lot of more popular games on Android now where, the person you fly around with a jetpack. So found it quite hard to find it. I think I eventually used ChatGPT to figure out what the game is. So, ask it. There was this game 15 years ago where you're Android and you jump around. Yeah. So eventually I found it. Then I tried to track down the game is not available on the Play Store, but it is actually available on the Amazon store, quite amazingly, because Amazon doesn't remove old programs as aggressively as Google is doing now. So you can still find it on the Amazon App Store, and you can install it from the Amazon App Store if you want. It seems to work just fine. I tried it on my Fire tablet. But anyway, then I remembered also it was open source, so I tried to find the code. Did eventually find the code, but of course, Android code from 15 years ago doesn't work. Even Android code from last week doesn't work, right? All the dependencies, we didn't even have Android Studio back then. We didn't have Grado, right? So none of that setup stuff works, but the code is still there. So what I did is basically recreate, the Android project, put it in a new, wrapper. Everything is new, like Android Studio, Grado, all the dependencies, everything. And to the great credit of the developers, the game just works otherwise because it's pretty much pure Java, right? There's a lot of dependencies needed to run the game, so everything pretty much just works. I actually had a harder time. I sort of got stuck. I thought it wasn't working because it doesn't work very well on the emulator. So I thought maybe there's some bugs, but it turns out it's just the emulator thing. On a device, it just works. There's no problem. I did fix a few things. I made the screen full screen properly. Also unlocked. There was a level select feature in the original game, but you had to I think, complete the game before that feature unlocked. So I just unlocked it by default. I don't think this game had music during the actual gameplay. So there's no music. There was a bit of a tune in the menu, right, when you're selecting, like starting the game in the menu, but that doesn't seem to work, and I don't think it's worth really trying to fix. It's just a small tune it plays when you're in the menu. Right, so there are also a lot of videos, well, not a lot, but there are a few old videos by the original developer. I think there are several developers, but it was a Google I/O presentation there are 3 presentations, 2009, 2010, and 2011, about how they made this game and how to make Android games, compatible across Android devices in general. Because you have to remember back then, right, you didn't really have a lot of game frameworks that supported Android or anything like you do today. So this game was used by Google as a sort of a sample project for game developers to go and make their own games and their own game frameworks, and sometimes reuse this game as sort of a framework to build their own games. So it's quite interesting. Like I said, again, it still works, so that's quite amazing. I think 15 years, nothing works that long in Android, but here we are. So I'll put the repo in the description here. You can either download the code, or maybe I'll put the APK as well. But otherwise, you can also just install it from Amazon Play Store. Amazon Store. And also I did remove some things. I removed like the analytics packages because the web services have changed completely, so they don't work anymore. You might see the options still in the menu, but the game doesn't even require internet permission now. So yeah, and also the website for the game still sort of works. You can find Replica Island website if you Google it. It's quite interesting that you see this sort of old ancient website, but it's still running for the most part. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's it for me. Enjoy.